Let's be honest, when you think about the most important bones in your body, your mind probably jumps to your skull, your spine, or maybe your femur, right? But what if I told you there's a bone in your forearm that's an absolute masterpiece of mechanical engineering? It's responsible for some of your hand's most incredible abilities, and it all starts with a very simple question.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Go ahead, try it right now. Turn your palm up, then face it down. See that? Your elbow and your shoulder, they barely moved at all. How is that possible? It feels so simple, but biomechanically, it's a really clever puzzle.
Well, the answer to that puzzle is the hero of our story today, the radius. It's one of the two bones in your forearm. And here's the kicker. While its partner, the ulna, stays pretty still, the radius is the one that's perfectly engineered to pull off this amazing rotational trick. So to really see how this engineering marvel works its magic, we need to understand its brilliant design. Come on, let's take a little guided tour of the radius, starting from the top and working our way down. Okay, starting right at the top, near your elbow, we find the head of the radius. And its shape, that's the first huge clue. It's not a ball and socket joint like your shoulder. Nope, it's this smooth, almost perfectly flat disc. And that design is built for one thing and one thing only, pure rotation. It lets the radius just spin in place against your upper arm bone, the humerus, without any wobble. This right here is the pivot point where the whole movement kicks off. Moving on down, we get to the shaft, the long body of the bone. You'll notice it has this really sharp ridge running down one side. Now that's not just for looks. It's a super important anchor point for a tough, fibrous sheet that connects the radius to its partner bone, the ulna. Kind of like two tent poles held together by a strong tarp. This connection is firm but also flexible, and it's what lets the radius swing around the ulna. That's absolutely critical for rotation. And finally, we get down to the lower end, near your wrist. And this part is truly the driver's seat. It's the widest part of the bone for a very good reason. It's got a huge job. It's the platform that your hand and wrist literally sit on. So when the radius rotates, this wide end just sweeps your entire hand right along with it. All those little bumps and grooves you see here, like that bony point at the base of your thumb, they're perfect little pulleys for all the tendons that control your fingers. Okay, so we've got our components, we've got the pivot, the connecting rod, and the driver's seat. Now, let's put them all in motion and watch the beautiful biomechanical dance they perform. It's called pronation and supination. These are the two key moves, the two main dance steps. Pronation is when you turn your palm to face down. Supination is when you turn your palm up. And hey, here's a great way to remember supination. Just think of holding a bowl of soup. In that position, with your palm up, your radius and ulna are lying nice and parallel to each other. So here's the magic trick broken down. When you turn your palm down to pronate, the ulna stays completely still. It's the stable anchor. It's the radius that does all the work. Its disc-shaped head pivots at the elbow, and its long shaft and wide lower end literally swing across the ulna, carrying your hand with it. It's just a beautifully efficient system that gives you all this rotation without having to move your entire arm. But of course, bones don't move on their own, do they? The radius is being controlled by a dedicated team of muscles, the movers and shakers, that pull on it in different ways to produce all these precise movements. We can basically think of these muscles as two specialized teams. First up, you've got team rotator. Your powerful bicep muscle, for example, it doesn't just bend your elbow. It's actually one of the main muscles for twisting your palm up for supination. This is your turning a doorknob or using a screwdriver team. Then you've got team wrist and thumb movers. They anchor right onto the radius to give you all that fine control you need for everything from waving goodbye to texting a friend. Now, this whole design is incredibly elegant and super effective, but it does have a vulnerability. Because we rely on it so heavily, especially to brace ourselves when we fall, the radius has a huge clinical significance. So let's take a look at what happens when this marvel of engineering actually breaks. What's with this big number 1? Well, it's not a good thing. This number means the radius holds the unfortunate title of being the single most frequently broken bone in the entire arm. And the reason is simple, really. It's our first line of defense. When we fall, what's our first instinct? We throw a hand out to catch ourselves. And the radius is what takes the full, brutal force of that impact. And these breaks, they often follow very specific patterns. The most classic one is the Colles fracture. This happens when you fall on an outstretched hand, and the force pushes that broken lower piece of the radius backward. A Smith's fracture is basically the opposite. usually from a fall on the back of your wrist. And a chauffeur's fracture? That one snaps off that little bony point, the styloid process that we talked about earlier.
And it's not just about fractures either. A condition like this is a powerful reminder that the radius isn't just some simple strut of bone. Its precise shape and how it grows are absolutely essential for your wrist to work correctly. Even a small deviation in its design can lead to some major consequences down the line.
So the next time you turn a key, wave hello, or catch yourself from a stumble, just take a second to appreciate the radius. It's the silent pivot, the elegant lever, and the steadfast platform that gives your hand its incredible freedom of movement. It really is a true masterpiece of biomechanics. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden engineering marvels are we all carrying around with us every single day?